We are supply chain.
We are supply chain.
We are supply chain.
Nosotros somos supply chain.
I am my supply chain group.
I'm MSCG, and we're your supply chain group.
Welcome to this webinar on inventory optimization in SAP IBP. My name is Alexander Vonk, and in this presentation, Mahesh Latkar, our MSCG IBP expert, will present what you can do with inventory optimization in SAP IBP. Hi, Mahesh.
Hey Alex, thanks for introduction. So everyone will talk about today inventory optimization, how it is done in SAP IBP.
So where does inventory optimization fit into the IBP processing chain?
Yeah, as you can see on the slide, so these are all SNOP modules. We got IBP demand planning, then inventory planning, then we got response and supply, okay, and then control tower. So if you look at this red box, which is for IBP for inventory, as we're getting input from IBP demand, which is your demand and forecast data, and we got a different set of key figures within IBP for inventory. We use that data for actual demand and forecast, and then we calculate the error calculation, coefficient of variation. And that coefficient of variation is used by inventory planning. And we're going to get output in terms of recommended safety stock and inventory targets that will further go to the supply planning. So which can use that output in few of the key figures in supply planning, and we can do further supply planning using that safety stock recommended by inventory.
So what kind of objectives do you have when you do inventory optimization with IBP?
So with IBP inventory optimization, we can achieve very high customer service levels while reducing the safety stock within the entire supply chain network. It will do planning like MRP. It will blow up the bill of material, and you can see safety stock at each location across the supply chain for finished product as well as components.
What is a good reason to basically implement inventory optimization? What makes it so special?
If you see, right, our conventional method of safety stock planning in earlier days, we had APO and we also had IBP supply, and we got few safety stock procedures available to do safety stock planning. But with that, we have very few inputs like your future demand and target fix of supplies, and based on that we calculate safety stock. So it's very simple algorithm. But if you look at IBP inventory optimizer, we got multiple inputs going into inventory optimizer.
I see demand variability and supply variability or service variability. Can you explain it a bit? Is it like the uncertainty of those things?
Right. So inventory optimizer, it can handle various kind of variabilities like demand variability, supply, and service variability. Demand variability is like it's specific to your the customer demand. So what kind of pattern or order you receive from the customer. So based on the past data, right, actual sales or actual demand and your forecast in the past. So we do that comparison and come up with coefficient of variation. So that is demand variability. Similarly for supply variability, so it has got different kind of lead times like production lead time, transport lead time, and also lot sizes. So it is plan versus actual, what you're expecting your lead time and what actually happened in the past. So system recognize this variability, and we have coefficient of variation for each of these parameters. So similarly for service variability, it talks about customer service levels and internal service levels. So there, what was the planned customer or target service level could be 95%, but actually I delivered 90%. We can manage various constraints using inventory optimizer. So there are hard and soft constraints. So we'll do demo on that. So storage or max inventory, this is kind of soft constraint. And you have minimum and maximum lot sizes. This could be the hard constraint. We also have minimum stock requirement is one of the input. So that is also kind of hard constraint that we'll see further in the when we do the planning. The last part here is what we get out of inventory optimizer is recommended safety stock. That is the main input, main output. And then it also gives you reorder levels, reorder point levels, and different type of stocks, cycle stock or pipeline stock, or merchandise stock. So how much safety stock you receive due to demand variability, how much safety stock got generated due to supply variability. That comparison you can do, and you can adjust your parameters accordingly.
So here we see the various inventory levels. Can you explain what is happening here?
Right. So this is, I think we are familiar with this diagram. This is specific to inventory replenishment process. So at the bottom, you can see green bar, which is safety stock. In blue, you can see cycle stock, and in pipeline stock. Your pipeline stock is when you place an order, the stock goes in transit. So it's nothing but in transit stock. You got different lead times here. It could be production lead time or transport lead time. And you also have periods between review. So that's the period when you review your inventory levels, inventory stock.
So the top solid line is the capital deployed, and then the bottom solid line is the actual inventory available to ship to the customer.
Absolutely. So in this diagram, that blue plus green, that comprise your on-hand inventory targets. That means cycle stock and safety stock. If you combine this together, you get on-hand inventory targets. And on top of it, we got target inventory positions. So if you add up all the stock, you'll get target inventory positions. So I got one product here, finished product, IBP 300 to the right side, and I have customer group. So as you know that we do inventory optimization at product location, customer group level. And these 3 DCs are going back to the manufacturing plant. And to the left side, it shows you the production source IDs at each of the manufacturing facilities. And to the extreme left, you can see the components. It could be semi-finished or raw material that we're getting from the supplier. So with this inventory optimizer, it will recommend you the safety stock at each of this level, each of the location for finished and your raw materials. In this slide, you can see there are various input which goes into inventory optimizer. So high level, you got policy parameters, then demand parameters. You also have lot size and lead times. You also have sourcing quotas or BOM, bill of materials. Yeah. And there are a few more inputs here, lot sizes and lead times. So basically it is nothing but production or transport lead time and lot sizes. So you can see when we receive the demand, customer demand for the customer group, it gets propagated to customer facing locations, which are nothing but distribution centers. It is just like MRP planning. So it will just explode the BOM across the supply chain. And then you'll see that demand is getting propagated at each location.
Right.
So the next location could be manufacturing plant. So you will see that demand for the finished product as well as the components at manufacturing plant. Then system also does this internal service levels optimization. So it will determine the internal service levels based on the target service levels. And finally, you come up with safety stock targets and the lost demand.
So this then shows the outputs of the whole process. Can you explain that a bit?
Right. So there are various type of output here, but the important output we're expecting is recommended safety stock. You can see the various planning levels and its various key figures available within inventory optimization. Now we'll look at the planning views, the system. So if you can see here, there are a bunch of key figures available, and these are all standard IBP key figures. So IBP 300 is our finished product. We have location 3710, which is DC, and we have customer group as wholesale. So you can see here there are few key figures which are available at product location and customer group level, which are target service level, which is one of the main input. It determines your non-stock out probability based on this target service level. And you also get lost demand, which is nothing but average expedites. And other key figures are at product location level. So once you reach the demand from the customer group, it gets propagated at DC, distribution center. So you can see those quantities here in the propagated demand means key figure. Once you receive this, based on this demand and target service levels, it recommends safety stock. How much safety stock you have to carry at customer facing location for this product. Then you have many other key figures like the order point. It gets calculated automatically by the system. And then you have expedites value. So this is also a simple calculation. So these are dollarized values. So this is like average expedites multiplied by your unit cost. Then we'll go back to now manufacturing plant. So as I said that it is just it does kind of MRP run in the backend and propagates the demand at each location. So now we had this demand, propagated demand at DC. Now it will go back to your manufacturing plant. And based on this demand, it will come up with new safety stock recommendation at manufacturing location. The way it calculates recommended safety stock, it is a simple calculation. Your safety factor, which is Z factor, multiplied by standard deviation of the demand during lead time. Okay, so this is a standard algorithm which runs in the backend. So since we got a component attached to the finished product in terms of bill of materials, so that's how it determines the non-stock probability based on all the inputs. Now next planning view is, so it is similar to the previous one, only you will see here different key figures. So here we have again a DC, one DC and one manufacturing location. You can see here there are different type of variabilities. So as we spoke earlier, so you can see this recommended safety stock. This is occurring due to which variability. So here you will see only service variability is there. So this safety stock due to service variability. Okay, so there is no demand variability because we don't have any demand or forecast at the manufacturing location. And then you have different type of stocks like cycles, stock targets, on-hand stock target, and target in process stock. Since this is a manufacturing site, that's why you see your in process stock in this key figure. But you will not see this in process at DC because there is no manufacturing there. And one thing to observe here, the cycle stock for this finished product at a manufacturing location, it turns into your pipeline stock at DCs because that's where you're receiving the stock, receiving these finished goods from the manufacturing plant since you're producing it internally. And we have at last we have target inventory positions. So system calculates this based on all this data. So I think this is if you look at this one at manufacturing side, so it is on-hand stock plus in-process stock.
Yeah.
So that gives you target inventory positions. Okay, I got few more key figures here. At the bottom, you can see working capital inventory. So this is nothing but your target inventory positions, this quantity multiplied by value unit cost. So it gives you dollarized working capital inventory targets. I've just created one scenario here to show this how to manage storage constraint, storage capacity constraint using inventory optimizer. So here I got few key figures. You can see here on the top we got propagated demand. Then we have safety stock recommended by the system. We have cycle stock, merchandise stock, and pipeline stock. Okay, and then we have on-hand stock targets. We'll talk about this hard constraint versus soft constraint. So this minimum stock requirement key figure. This is one of the input to the optimizer, and this becomes your hard constraint. So any min and max lot sizes or those key figures, those are called hard constraints. But this key figure, IO max on hand inventory, this is kind of soft constraint. So in this example, I got min stock requirement as 500, and I already ran the optimizer earlier. So you can see here on-hand stock targets are greater than 500. Okay, so it is respecting this hard constraint. Now if I remove this, so then I got this IO max on hand inventory, which is a soft constraint. So I just put here 300 quantities in each of these buckets. And now if I do simulation run, so I'll run the multi-stage inventory optimizer. Okay, now after running this multi-stage inventory optimizer, you need to execute another job, another algorithm, which is to calculate target inventory components. So if you see now, it changes these numbers. So here I've set the target as 300. So system will make sure that we are not exceeding this quantity on hand stock target beyond this 300, because I don't have space available at my DC location for this product location combination. So we can likewise we can set these restrictions or limits using this key figure, and you can manage these on-hand stock targets. But if you keep adding a hard constraint on top of this, then this will not get precedence. Like we saw, we had put some numbers for minimum stock requirements earlier. So this becomes hard constraint, and then it will violate this 300 quantities in that case. And at the bottom, you can see this target inventory positions recalculated after changing these numbers. So this storage capacity constraint can be managed using two key figures. One is IO max on hand inventory, this key figure for the quantities. And then you need to put also cost. So you can put a little higher cost here to consider this as a constraint. So here also I created another scenario. And here I got now two more key figures in this view, which is demand ramp down indicator and demand phase out indicator. Others are your safety stock and TIP, target inventory positions. So once you run the optimizer, it will look at your demand, propagated demand, and then if it changes suddenly at some point, then it will indicate as a ramp down indicator. So if you look at this first bucket, I got 679 quantities demand, but next bucket, it has been reduced to 300. So here system is suggesting that this could be your ramp down scenario. So it indicates this, it indicates with this key figure and this value. And based on this demand ramp down indicator, it also suggests that you had recommended safety stock very high at the previous in the previous bucket. Now it is going to reduce drastically.
Yeah. That is very practical. So as a planner, basically, I can review this with the indicators, but the system has already recommended an action to be taken.
Right. Similarly for the target inventory positions, so you can see that it's a very big number in the previous bucket, but now it is reducing to 1300. Likewise, it can give this indicator at DC as well as manufacturing sites.
So does it
I will-
also mean that basically my demand for components will be reduced as a result of that?
Yes, because if that means you don't need a safety stock anymore, or you need less safety stock for this finished goods. So it will also impact your component safety stock. And now, if I scroll to the right, so now my demand is getting reduced day by day gradually. So at certain point, I don't have any demand in the future at DC. Okay. So in that case, you will see both of these key figures are populated. So it is saying that you need to have this ramp down as well as your product is getting phased out. And you can see this impact with these numbers. So here in week 14, you have recommended safety stock 800, but now it is coming down to 600 odd number. Similarly for the target inventory positions, it was 1200, now it is just recommending 289 because it can guess that now your product is getting phased out since there is no demand in the future.
Yeah. So that will leave me with little unsold product, or hopefully none.
Right. And you can also build a dashboard based on this information to look at this result easily. Here I've created a few dashboards. So we'll go through them one by one. So I can pick up a few of them. So let us talk about this safety stock variability. So here you can see we got three key figures here: supply variability, demand variability, and service variability. And this is your total recommended safety stock for this product, IBP 300, and we got two locations. And we have here 5 weeks, 5 calendar weeks. So you can see that how this safety stock is recommended and how this how safety stock is calculated based on these variabilities.
Right.
So you can see top bar is the blue bar. So there is not much safety stock generated because of supply variability. But if you look at orange one, that is service variability. So you got more safety stock due to service variability. We'll take other example. So this dashboard shows you the safety stock investment. So by product family. In this pie chart, you can view there are different product families, and it can suggest you that for maybe next quarter, how much safety stock you are going to invest. You can also have this this is in percentage. You can also have these values, and even by regions. So you can build this kind of dashboards using this information.
So the majority of my safety stock investment at the moment is for that product family 3000300, the red one.
Right. Yes, so you are going to invest more value for this family. We also have other dashboards. For example, let us look at this one, demand forecast. So here I got 3 locations, 3 DCs. And here you can see the demand forecast by DC for next 3 months. So it shows you at DC level how much quantity of demand, how much demand is there for the future period. Likewise, we can build many other dashboards. For example, forecast error CV. So here we got one product and multiple locations, and you can see there are different coefficient of variation for each of these location. Safety days of coverage. Here you can see. Okay, safety days of coverage. Let us look at this one. So here to my right side, we got 3 key figures here: safety stock days, target on hand days, and ending on hand days. So blue bar is safety stock days. It tells you that this is number of days. So it tells you that your safety stock you can cover your demand for this much period. Target on hand days, you need to keep this much of safety stock, 15 or 16 days of safety stock.
Yeah, so the 15 days of safety stock is what I need to to have a service level of 99%.
Service level of 99%, and yes, and to cover the demand in the future. So this is all about these dashboards.
So how does this all fit together?
Yeah, so as we saw, so inventory optimizer, it gives you the recommended safety stock as one of the main output, and it can be passed on to the supply planning to do further planning. We saw that how we can get how we can achieve high customer service level using inventory optimizer, and it has got various inputs and various outputs, and how it optimizes the safety stock for the entire supply chain network. So you can contact MSCG for further information. The contact person is Mr. Suraj Matre. This is the email ID, and there is a phone number mentioned here.
Yes, thank you very much for the demonstration, Mahesh.
Thanks, Alex.